determine how that dynamic works in yours. And I do the same for myself. That works for us as individuals, but when we want to grow as a society and make sure that, you know, we have the same code, that our families can cooperate and work together, that I can trust my wife around your family and vice versa, because we don't operate the same. And that it takes a village mentality. We can't really build that if everybody's building relationships.
So women, I'm live too. So women are what? So women are what?
What do you mean? What's the question?
That's
women are beautiful.
Now you.
God sits in your mind.
All right, so
they can do no wrong.
So no. So you were saying that. And because this is real, relationship conversations will never go away until we figure this thing out. This is like we in this phase of a new generation trying to figure out how do we get along with each other? What's our new societal standards and norms to move, right? So women are trying to figure out what are their roles. Men are trying to figure out what their roles are. And that goes up to what men say they are and what women say they are. Like, people want to live in an undefined society, right? People want to live, want to have this undefined society, but you have to define things in order to be able to move forward, right? You know, there's so much hatred going on, man. I ain't gonna lie, it just be crazy. Like, you almost can't say nothing on these posts without emotional tirades of men and women going crazy at each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, people hold on to so much hate for each other. I don't trust women who hate men. I don't even have love for you. I have empathy for you, but I can't have love for somebody who thinks men are villains. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a man. Like a man. You feel me? But I also don't trust men who hate women. You know what I mean? Like, to no degree. Like, I don't even want to know you. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to shake your hand. You a weirdo. Right? That's just reality. So when I be seeing all of this hate, I don't even got time to hear your reasons why of hate. I don't have time for that. Like, I just rather deal with people who got enough common sense, right? And enough knowledge and got their mind, head, and they screwed on correctly where, man, shit, they understand that shit ain't so nuanced to where you blame a whole entire sex on both sides for issues. I don't want to hear you blame the entire population of men for patriarchy. I don't want to hear that shit. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hear about you talking about how all modern women ain't shit. I don't want to hear that. They ain't shit to you. You know what I mean? I'll be honest. Shit, they be rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? They rock with the real ones still. I ain't gonna lie, they tripping out here for surely. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like everybody wants to redefine everything in society as if they know how to redefine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't try to reassign. People want to reassign everything. Genders, constructs, roles. You know, we are in the society where everybody feel like they can just reassign things as if they know that things are going to fit better in another place, and they don't. You know what I mean? So y'all gotta chill with all this weirdo behavior, because that shit be really like, man, it kills my spirit when I see it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's because you need to really get off the internet if you got that much hate and venom in your heart, and you need to go figure yourself out, and you're going to put yourself on a timeout, and don't get on the internet until you have some understanding, because that's not where you go find change. And
what cooperation?
Accountability needs to be the biggest word of our generation.
The biggest action. I feel like it was the biggest word of the last
No,
year.
women and men don't want to be healed. It ain't no men nor women. You think men and women don't want to be. For everything you can say about a man, the same is true for a woman. The same thing you say for a woman, damn near the same is true for men. So the moment you start pointing the finger, you're really talking about yourself, right? And you got to be able to first focus on self before you can try to correct anybody. You can't be unhealed talking about somebody else don't want to heal. Man, you just as fucked up as that person.
Well, what you said comes from like that comes from when you activate wisdom. When people see that what you say out, whatever you say out of your mouth is a reflection of you.
Yeah, and we gotta be able. We don't have that like them circles no more. You know what I mean? Them big breast circles. Like if I see one of the homies tripping over a female doing some things that's out of pocket, I'm gonna be like, bruh, that's some sucker shit. This is the best way to go about it. Like, don't do that no more. You feel me? I'm gonna give you some real game on how you can go about moving as a man. I'm not gonna allow that to rock. You feel me? But we got a society to where people don't be tightening up their circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with women. Women don't be giving each other game on how to move properly. You know what I mean? Because I'm not judging you. Do whatever you want. That's the thing. There's no accountability.
I feel
So,
like men, I think and it may be out of ego, but men will definitely address certain things in their homies first, even if it's just out of joke. You doing this? We doing this? We really don't. I don't see.
But you know why as well? Because I can't respect my homie if he doing some sucker shit. That's the thing. So now if I'm around you, I feel like I don't respect myself by being around you, because I feel like I'm taking on your characteristics of my reputation as well, right? So, but I don't believe women do the same thing. Women have a friend that she probably don't respect the way she go about doing things, and you know, a lot of times ain't gonna say nothing. It's no shame here, no judgment here, and that's a bigger thing about this generation. It's like no more the elders, the big mamas, you know what I mean, the grandmothers. You feel me? Ain't giving no game. The big sisters ain't like, no, this how you move around men. This how you move with dignity. This how you move with yourself. This is how you go about doing things better. This how you feel me? Ain't nobody giving no game no more. And everybody just out there in Wild Wild West. And that's why people don't know shit. And then you mic them up. You goddamn give them a platform. And then they expose themselves and not knowing shit. And niggas be out here saying wild, stupid shit on the internet all day long, thinking that it's wisdom.
See, but that's what women used to do with each other, man, because they all knew their power. Like, and no matter what, every woman knows what level of power that she holds.
Yeah, how to run game.
They know that. They know they, on some form of level, they got some little magic, some little witch power, right? So, but back in the day, women used to check each other. You know, all the time. Like, girl, why you with the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
there was a standard.
They would check they homegirls. They would check they sisters. They would check each other. Nowadays, women ain't checking each other. You know?
It requires checking, and then before that, it requires training. Like, you know, a man would like literally go through like training. You know what I mean, to become a man. Nowadays, people feel like they can just say that they are that.
Right.
No, like women will go through training to be like a good wife, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like it required, like all of these things required. Like we were being trained to understand each other, right? But how can you train a man to understand the women of this age, or a woman to understand a man of this age? Because if you train a woman on the idea of what original masculinity is, she gonna run into a soy boy and be like, man, it ain't nothing like what y'all trained me for. You know what I'm saying? If you train a man to be exemplar in a role for, you know, a feminine woman, and then all of a sudden he get with his woman and she ain't nothing like what y'all trained me for. Like, I'm doing all of the stuff, but she ain't doing none of the stuff y'all said come with that.
That means they ain't trained them how to look to find a feminine woman.
But people can mask and pretend to be what they think you want them to be long enough to get you into, right, bed or in a relationship, if you will. And then you figure out like more of the rebellious side starts to come, because society also has to reinforce that. So when the environment doesn't reinforce that, that's when, you know, people start doing other things that don't complement the relationship.
See, again, that goes back to, I ain't gonna fake it. This is a kind of like an accountability thing. This does go back to the women, because let's say, for example, if your aunties or whatever teach you about women, right? And then you go out there and get a woman. And so what he's supposed to do is really bring her around the aunties, bring her around the women. Because she gonna check. Your aunties don't check her. They gonna check to see what type of woman she is. They gonna check her powers.
That's
you see
real
what I'm
though,
saying?
because
and so that's what's really missing in society today. It's like niggas ain't really, we don't have really our kind of like, we used to have our set up to where it's like we have our,
it was the village.
like our witches. You see what I'm saying? who they tell us like, look, she bad for you. Okay, she the one for you. Because they already know. You see what I'm saying? They already know what you, the women that's in your life, they already know you. They already know like your modus operandi. And so when you bring a certain women around, they can tell you like, she ain't for you. They can already sense it.
What's wild is, growing up, I got 3 brothers. I'm a very strong, exemplary father, right? But the most game I got on women and how to select a woman came from my mother.
Came from a woman.
And it was.
Well, Tupac said we got our game from our woman.
Right. So.
No, my mom sure gave me some game that I operated off of. You know what I mean? I got a lot of the wrong game from my older brother. For surely. You had to like reteach yourself a lot of these different things. Because, learning, I didn't like, for me, learning how to treat myself right, I would say. Because it's not even like, when you talk about treating other people right, it's more so about learning how you treat yourself right. And that's not what I was taught. You know what I'm saying? I was taught more so, how to, what's the word? To just be a dog, if you will. You know what I mean? Just do whatever the fuck you want to. So it's like, you have to unlearn and relearn, Lord. You feel me? You and as a man, the older you get, the harder it becomes because it's habits. So you got to go back and right over on top of the patterns that you have, new ones. And then you got to make those stick harder than the ones that you already have within self, right? And so you have to have your environment got to reinforce that, and the people you're around got to reinforce that. And there's so many different things, but I think one of the number one things that's missing on both sides of the aisle is empathy. Empathy to me is where we super lost towards each other. We don't empathize with what it takes to be the nuances and the complexity of what it means to be a man today, right? And what it means to be a woman today. Like, women are going through the biggest transition in history. You know what I mean? As far as the way that they view self-image, and their ideas around society and the roles that women are supposed to have, right? And if something is happening with women, then that flip side is also happening with men. So we're not really being empathetic towards the psychological repositioning that both genders now have to take to operate in this world in a successful manner, right? While also coupling that with overstimulation, hypersexualization, right? Lack of proper guidance, right? Survival, pandemics, all sort of different things, right? Future shock from shifts that's happening. It's so many different things that's happening. So it's like previous generations could focus on one thing. Let me focus on get me a job, taking care of my family, being a better man. Man, no, like we're so over involved into societal issues that we don't really get to focus on one thing at a time. And so that's where the empathy has to be displayed, because otherwise, these things will continue to happen and we're going to get worse at, operating in society, and we're going to pass that down to the next generation, and they just going to be lost. Like, my pops was lost, my mama was lost. Shit, I'm lost. So it's like, what is there to pass down when you have to go from being a baby to an elder? That's the goal. Go from being a baby to an elder, and you only do that through degrees of wisdom, not through physical growth, right? Being an elder means that you now have wisdom. You're a tree of wisdom that now you can help guide the next, because you've been through that already, and you can help them make the best or better decisions.
Yeah, I always say, life initiates you, right? Like, life is the greatest initiate through those rites of experiences that you encounter. And when it comes to, for instance, the butting of heads between masculinity and femininity, like you said, there's so many changes going around the identity. I wonder how much of that tethers into the fact that we have people literally switching their genders right now. So, along with that comes a whole nother portal to, okay, what can we do and what can't we do? What sports can they compete in, right? And it brings into question, well, what is your role in society? And I remember hearing one time, you know, my mother could have been the most successful business person in history. It probably wouldn't have meant more to me than her being my mother, right? But if my father has the most successful business, that's a flex. Yeah, I want to be like Dad. That's dope. But my mom, the greatest thing she could do is be a mother. There's nothing better for a woman to do than to be that grandma, to be the matriarch of a family, to take care of a family. That's the best job. That's the most important job, for real.
Right.
So, you know, my mother was my first programmer. She's the one who let me know I could do anything that I put my mind to. If I wanted to, I just had to go get it. There's things like that you can't replace that she couldn't bring with money. You know what I'm saying? Or going to work. But, so how do we kind of, as men, communicate that to women? Like, hey, this is what we needed. This is what we got from our mothers at work. I promise you.
Hey, if y'all want to hear full conversation, make sure y'all go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe. Make sure you leave a review today, tonight. The full thing will be uploaded, right? And you're going to be able to hear the full conversation. That's where you're going to be able to get that replay. So make sure y'all lock in ASAP because we dropping new downloads daily on Apple Podcasts on the audio side so that y'all can listen. You know what I mean? Wake up in the morning, listen to them keys. Go to sleep at night, listen to them keys, right? Especially, man, if you dating somebody new, man, just send them the keys. Then have a conversation about those keys. It's going to be easier for you to be able to have those conversations. That's tough to have. Instead, y'all can just review, right, the podcast or the audio so y'all can tap in. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Man, go ahead. Keep speaking, bro.